All right, everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I have another FAQ for you guys. I've been kind of waiting to compile. I've seen a lot of really good questions, so I want to do an FAQ here, give you guys a few things, answer a few questions that I've seen in the comments that really, again, if you guys know the series, they don't deserve a full video themselves, but they're still good questions and things that you guys deserve to have answered. So let's get into our video, guys. So the first one that I saw was somebody asking, like, what's the minimum relic level? And it was when I was talking about my general needs video down here. And they were asking, yes, everybody has these teams, right? But what are they? Like, what are the relic levels you need on them? And I kind of, there's two ways to look at relic levels in this game. There's the ones that you need. Like, you need Padme at Relic 8 to get Lord Vader. Bossk has to be Relic 5 for the Executor event. Then you have somebody here like Commander Luke, Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan. I have them all at Relic 5. Commander Luke is a Relic 3 requirement for the Jedi Knight Luke event. Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan are not required at relic levels. They just need to be above like 17,500 power for the Malak event, which is not hard to do. So why are they relic 5? When you guys are looking at investing relics in your characters, what you want to do is ask yourself, is it one that's necessary or just one that's a want, right? Because your necessary relics deserve those first. Like Padme's relic 8 before any of my Galactic Legends because she's a requirement. So what I would say is if you're an early player and you're doing your first 10 relics or you're following the farming guide and I'm saying, hey, you're Darth Vader, right? These are some of the early relics you want. I normally say relic 3. Relic 3 is normally that point where I'd say is your first stopping point that unlocks that you can use level 1, like your level 3 Datacron sets. It's not expensive to do. It doesn't require a lot of resources. What you do then, right, with those relic 3s is as you progress through the game, right, if you're moving through those, and again, I have this still here, right, you're moving through your phases of Galaxy of Heroes, as you move into that mid-game, you start thinking, okay, what are some squads I can take up to Relic 5 to take advantage of further levels of Datacrons and getting ready for Rise of the Empire territory battles, right? And then as you get into that late game and, a later game and end game even, you can start thinking about putting those Relic 7s and even Relic 8s on those characters who right now are probably just, nice to haves, but not completely necessary at those relic levels. So I wanted to put that out there, guys, that, if you're asking what relic level should I use, my recommendation is always Relic 3 initially. As you move later in the game, and you'll kind of find this point where you're going to have like excess relic materials if you're just following like a good guide and you're being smart, you're not wasting resources. You'll kind of find this point where you're like, you know what, I could use a Relic 5 Commander Luke Skywalker, so I'm going to go do that. Again, that's just my recommendation, guys, that you want to move through them first by what do you need, and then move into what wants you have and making sure that you're doing that efficiently. So hopefully that helps you guys with relics. Okay, the next question I saw was about the mod store. So you guys know I do a lot of mod videos. I always preach about mods. So early on, right, you guys have known, I've kind of said this before, like if you just need mods, right, you just need a lot of mods, the mod challenges is where you want to go because this is going to give you an insane amount of mods, right? You're going to get a lot of mods out of this. As you get to that point where you need to get picky with your mods, where all of a sudden you need to start getting better mods, right? I start worrying about slicing materials. And you can start maybe by doing half going towards mods, half towards slicing materials, and then you move more towards slicing because maybe you don't need as many mods, you just need really good ones. And that's where slicing comes into play, right, to get you those higher level mods. But what I saw somebody ask was, do I go in the mod store and buy mods? And the answer is yes. This mod store here is actually where I get the vast majority of my mods. So I'm going to show you guys a few mods in here that I think are that could be potentially worth buying for me. So this one right here, this tenacity square, it's got tenacity percent, it's got potency percent, speed. This is not a bad mod. I can think of a few characters I could use that on. We're going to scroll down the list. No speed here on these gold mods, so not worth my time. And then we come down here, this protection mod. Defense percent, potency. It's not bad, right? That's not a bad mod, so we're going to buy this. And I don't know if I want to buy this one I'll buy it just for the video. We'll do it just for the video, just for you guys. So I go in there and buy those mods. Now, the question that some people have asked me is, when is it worth it to buy those mods? It's when you have an excess of credits, and you'll get to this point where credits are no longer the crunch and it really changes to gear. Once you start transitioning there, that's when I think that mod store really kicks into gear of the value, is when you're at that point where you're no longer scrounging for credits and you can afford to start buying those mods. Because as you guys will see here, depending on if these roll or not, I could have just wasted credits. So let's go here, and it rolls to 9 speed. I mean, it's not great. I'll probably keep it because I do need those like protection mods. Like you guys see here, I've got 12 on armor. I'm just gonna go through other characters, like 7 there, right? Like you could see, and again, I'm gonna have to find somebody to put that on. But there's, one mod, right? So then I'll go to this square here, and it was purple, but it's got that speed. So let's see what I can get out of this. And again, you go to 12, right? Because I don't want to spend more. Look at the difference. You're going up 160,000 credits, and so on this one here, it goes to 8 speed. It's not worth for me, if it rolled more speed, I would keep it, but it's not worth it for me to keep this mod for potentially rolling another level. So we're going to go ahead and we'll sell that mod later. So that's the mod store, right? Yes, it's worth it when you're at a point where you need those relics. And I'm sure you guys can see my cats jumping behind me at the, can you guys see the Christmas tree I have set up here behind my head? There it is. So this Christmas tree, there you guys go. So that is a family tradition of ours. My grandmother decided, she was a genius and decided that she did not want to take down Christmas trees ever. So it's kind of one of these family traditions that we've passed down where you just leave a Christmas tree up in your house year round. So my wife said I could have it in the basement because people don't come down here. While we are on this side tangent, you guys know the drill. Wampa 2, Relic 8. 5,000 subscribers, Wampa hits Relic 8. Make sure, guys, he is king in this game. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment down below if you haven't already. Also, if you guys would like, you can join the Discord server. I will link that in the video description as well. All right, guys, so the last question that I thought would be good to bring up is about, it's one of the biggest problems in this game, and it's when people talk about being free to play. And it grinds my gears because this concept has been so manipulated by the game. It's been so crazily manipulated. So I want to explain, guys, what does free to play mean? Free to play simply means you don't spend money. That's it. It doesn't mean that you're low galactic power or that you don't have galactic legends or relic nines, executor, profundity, whatever. No, that has nothing to do with it. It also doesn't mean that you don't use your crystals to buy things. That's not what free to play simply means. You're not investing money. And I see so many people get this wrong. I see so many people just being like, oh, they're not free to play because they buy, in their shipment store, they're going to buy impulse detectors, or, if you buy these Galactic Legend tickets, you're not free to play, right? If we come down the weekly shipments to wherever those things are, right? Like you guys buy these things, oh, you're not free to play. No, guys, free to play simply means you don't spend money. It has no other bearing on your account. It's also not a badge of honor, right? That's another thing that grinds my gears. It's not a badge of honor to be free to play. You're not cooler than everybody else because you don't spend money. It's simply a personal decision. And I think that's another thing that, this game has so far twisted, right? Was that it is an extremely important piece of information when someone's like reviewing your roster or giving you advice that they understand whether or not you are free to play. But it's not the first piece of information that you need to give someone. Listen to the farming advice they're giving you. If they're telling you right off the bat, like my farming guide, where I recommend that you guys go and farm, the executor first, and everybody's like, that's not free to play because of Relic 8 materials. It is, you just have to focus harder. You have to spend more time on that, right? But if you're someone who, hey, I'm deciding between Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as my first GL or Lord Vader, and I don't plan on spending any money, I need to know which one to get first. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren is your answer because Lord Vader costs so many more relic levels that it's going to take you longer to get him, and your account is going to suffer for that time that you're farming that Galactic Legend. If you're someone who comes and says, hey, I'm thinking between Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, I'm thinking between Lord Vader, first Galactic Legend, I'm planning on spending a good bit of money, then you probably say Lord Vader because better Galactic Legend, going to get some better teams out of that. So again, guys, it's something I've seen that's grinding my gears so much that, and we've got to stop this. Like, if someone spends money, thank them. They're keeping this game alive. And if you're free to play, if you're somebody who spends money, don't think that people who don't spend money don't deserve a voice in this game. Because without those people who don't spend money, right, without those guys, this game falls apart, right? For those of us who don't spend money, our voice is important from the standpoint that we're the reason people spend. That there's no reason for, and I'm just going to use, somebody, like I'll use my GAC opponent and pretend that they spend. Again, I don't know if they do or not. I'm just, making a broad assumption here. right? So let's say my opponent is spending money because he wants to stay ahead of guys like me. That's perfectly fine. That's what this game is designed to do. That's this model of the game, is that you're paying for an advantage. It doesn't mean that I might not be able to compete with this guy. I might not be able to beat him. It's simply saying that he paid for an advantage that I'm not willing to do. And I thank him if he is. Again, I don't know if my opponent is. I really, and it's very hard to tell at this stage in the game because people could look at my roster if they're 6 million and think, oh, that guy spends money. And you don't know. And it's not something that you need to share all the time. Like if I lose to this dude, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm free to play, good job. Or, if I beat somebody and I'm, who has a large account and I'm like, haha, whale, like you don't do that, guys. Like just respect each other in this game, understand the circumstances of each player, and guys, just don't judge people. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all love Star Wars. We all love this game, and if you're willing to spend to support this game, my hat comes off to you. Thank you for your service. That's the video, guys. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. As always, like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. May the force be with you. Cheers.